The wine-red nightgown used to mean something special between us for 5 years. Story. It had been our unspoken signal, her way of telling me she wanted intimacy tonight after weeks of excuses and rejection, seeing her emerge from the bathroom wearing. It sent my heart racing. Finally, I thought. Finally, steam still clung to her skin as she sauntered toward our bed. I watched mesmerized as she applied lotion to her legs. With deliberate slowness, my workday exhaustion vanished instantly. 3 weeks without physical connection had left me desperate for her touch. "You look beautiful," I whispered, reaching for her as she slid under the covers. My hand found her waist and I leaned in to kiss her neck, breathing in her familiar vanilla scent. What happened? Next shattered something fundamental between us. She stiffened, then shoved my hand away with unexpected force. Her eyes, usually warm, turned cold as she shifted to the edge of the bed. "Not tonight," she muttered, scrolling through her phone. Not even bothering to look at me. "But you're wearing the..." I gestured at her nightgown, confusion washing over me. "What I can't wear, what I want now." Her tone was sharp defensive. "That's not what I meant. It's been weeks, and you know what this particular nightgown means to us." She finally looked up from her phone, her expression a mixture of irritation and contempt. "God, are you seriously keeping count? Is that all you think about?" The conversation quickly spiraled. Each word that left her mouth felt like a calculated jab designed to wound. Then came the sentence that would replay in my mind for days. "Intimacy is a privilege, not your right," she snapped, her voice dripping with disdain. "Just because we're married doesn't mean you're entitled to my body whenever you want it." I lay there, stunned into silence as she turned her back to me. The ceiling fan spun lazily above us, marking time in a bedroom that suddenly felt like a prison cell. Sleep evaded me completely that night. As dawn broke, I found myself questioning everything. This wasn't about sex. It was about the growing distance between us, the constant rejections, the late-night texts she'd hide when I entered the room, the sudden work emergencies that pulled her away on weekends. Work, that's when it clicked. For weeks, she'd been mentioning this new colleague who joined her department. How thoughtful he was, how he brought her coffee, remembered her birthday, appreciated her ideas and meetings, all the small gestures I'd been too exhausted to maintain. Through our busy lives, the signs had been there all along, blurred by my blind trust in our 5 years together. I dismissed my instincts, chalking up her emotional withdrawal to stress or a rough patch. But that night, her cold rejection and those cutting words forced me to see clearly. Morning came and she left for work early, as had become her habit. I called in sick, needing time to think. Our wedding photos stared at me from the nightstand. Her in white, me and my tailored suit, both radiantly happy. Beside it sat our prenuptial agreement folder, something I'd insisted on after being financially devastated in my previous divorce. That prenup had been a point of contention early in our relationship. "Don't you trust me?" she'd asked repeatedly. Eventually, she'd signed it, understanding my need for security after what I'd been through. How ironic that document would now become my shield. I picked up my phone and scrolled to her Instagram. There he was in the background of her office party. Photos, tall, confident smile, wedding ring, clearly visible. A quick search revealed everything: married, 2 kids, and according to recent posts, a pregnant wife expecting their 3rd child. My initial pain crystallized into something harder, colder. A plan began forming in my mind. If she believed intimacy was a privilege she could revoke at will, then I would show her that loyalty worked the same way. I wasn't going to confront her with baseless accusations or give her the satisfaction of seeing me broken. I would be methodical, gather evidence, and when the time came, I would demonstrate exactly how privileges can be revoked. First step, I needed to meet this man who had captivated my wife's attention without revealing who I really was. Finding him was easier than expected. Social media revealed he frequented a sports bar downtown on Thursday evenings. Perfect. My wife always had networking events on Thursdays. I arrived early, choosing a seat with a clear view of the entrance when he walked. In laughing with colleagues, I instantly recognized him from the office photos. He carried himself with the unearned confidence of a man who believed he could take whatever he wanted without consequences. His wedding ring gleamed under the bar lights, a mockery of the commitment it represented. I waited until his friends left for the bathroom before making my move. Approaching casually, I struck up a conversation about the game playing on the overhead screens he welcomed the company introducing. Himself with a firm handshake, I gave him a fake name and mentioned working in the same corporate district as his company. You work near Metrop. He perked up my wife. She'd kill me if she knew how many happy hours I've been hitting lately. Work's been stressful, he said with a grin, tipping back his third beer. The secret to a happy marriage? Excellent excuses. I gave a tight nod, suppressing the disgust curling in my stomach. 2 drinks later, he was eagerly sharing his system for juggling extramarital affairs, burner phones, alibis, buddies who covered for him. Then, somewhere between the 4th and 5th beer, he leaned in closer. Actually seeing someone from the office right now, he said, voice low and smug. Married, 5 years, husband in finance, has no clue. My heart pounded, but my face stayed neutral. I lifted my glass slowly, masking the surge of realization crashing through me. She wears this wine-colored thing, he chuckled. Used to be their signal for, you know. Now she puts it on when she wants him to leave her alone. Keeps him off balance. It wasn't just a punch to the gut. It was confirmation. I discreetly activated the voice recorder on my phone. Every word, every arrogant confession, captured. He even gave me his address while inviting me to a weekend poker game. Over the next 2 weeks, I became his new drinking buddy. I played the part, laughed at his jokes, bit my tongue, all while collecting more photos, recordings, texts. Meanwhile, at home, I wore a mask of calm ignorance. My wife, my sweet, late-working, team-building, emergency meeting wife, had no idea I knew. I started watching. Parking across from his house, I saw the life he was betraying. His pregnant wife, 2 kids playing in the yard. It should have made me sad. Instead, it gave me purpose. The next day, I waited outside her prenatal yoga class with a decaf coffee and a fabricated story. You dropped this, I said, handing her a fake receipt. Figured you might need the caffeine-free boost. She smiled, exhausted and grateful. 20 minutes later, we were on a park bench swapping small talk. I gave her a name and backstory, recently divorced, new in town, just being kind. By night, my wife came home wearing that same wine-colored gown. I looked up from my book. You look nice, I said flatly, then turned back to the page. She hesitated, confused, for the first time unsure of her power. She said nothing. Later, I messaged his wife, asked for coffee, told her I had something she needed to see. We met the next morning at a cafe across town. She looked nervous, one hand on her belly. I brought the truth. Screenshots, recordings, photos. Her, husband with my wife, entering a hotel, sneaking around like teenagers. She didn't cry at first. Then she did. And when the tears stopped, she looked at me and said, "What do you want?" "Justice," I replied. "For both of us." We plotted. What began as strategy became something else. Long conversations, shared bitterness, an unexpected connection. And when comfort turned into something more, we didn't stop it. "This doesn't have to mean anything," she whispered. "Maybe," I said, "but it doesn't feel like nothing." Back home, my wife started noticing breakfast made, eyes searching mine. The sudden role reversal rattled her. "Where are you going tonight?" she asked one evening, arms crossed. "Out with colleagues," I said, mimicking her old tone. "Don't wait up." The irony wasn't lost on me. My late nights now drove her deeper into his arms. Then came the final blow. They planned a rendezvous in my house, in my bed, the wine gown, our sheets, her idea, his thrill. We set the trap. I told my wife I had a banking conference. She barely looked up from her phone as I packed. I kissed her goodbye, drove around the block, and waited. That night, she opened the door for him wearing the wine gown, pulled him inside like I didn't exist. From my car, his wife watched silently, hands on her belly, tears gone. "Are you sure you want to see this?" I asked. "I need to," she whispered. "No more lies." 30 minutes later, we entered quietly. The music was soft, lights dim, bedroom door ajar. I pushed it open. There they were. My wife on top of him, our bed, her laugh, his hands. They didn't see us at first. When they did, the color drained from their faces. My voice was steady. "Don't stop on our account." His wife stood beside me, unmoving. When she finally spoke, it was calm and lethal. "The divorce papers are on their way, along with everything you'll be losing." I looked at my wife. "And you? You can keep the gown. You've stained everything else." We turned and walked out. The damage was done. But justice? Just getting started. He thought she was in control until she saw me standing in the doorway. Her head snapped around as soon as she saw the movement. Eyes wide, panic, sheets scrambling. "What the?" she gasped, trying to cover herself. He froze, mid-motion. Then he saw me and worse, his pregnant wife Standy.